Subscribe to Get Curried and click on the bell icon for more updates.
Well, winter's around the corner, and with winter comes in my special and most favorite recipe, which is paya soup or kharode ka shorba. Generally, while making paya at home, it tends to get a little tedious because the process begins right from getting the good quality paya or trotters at home. Well, these are goat trotters which need to be nicely cleaned because there could be dirt, there could be little strands of hair which need to be cleaned. Well, there are 2-3 different ways of cleaning a paya. The first one, of course, is torching it. The second method, once you come home, of course, you need to wash it with salted water. The third step, and the step which is the most important, is to add in wheat flour on top of this. Keep it for somewhere around 10 minutes so that the wheat flour kind of clings onto the paya. The next step is to rub off the wheat flour from the paya and ensure that all the little strands of hair that otherwise would have gone missing come off. Well, that's where you wash it nicely and your paya is ready to be used. The first step now is to slice onions nice and thin. I'm making it extremely easy for you by making it in a very quick method. What I'm doing here is I'm making the masala, adding the paya, adding the water, and allow it to cook either on slow flame or pressure cook it. Now what I've done is I've taken some oil, allow it to heat nicely, and add in sliced onions. Allow these to cook till roughly translucent, and then let's move ahead. While the onions are getting cooked, let's move on to the next step, which is actually making a slurry of yogurt and the spices. So the first thing that goes in is some nice and thick yogurt. To this, let's add in the powder spices. Let's first begin with red chili as much as you prefer. The next thing that I'm adding in is some Garam Masala. This is followed by turmeric powder. Along with this, Kasoori Methi, let's add in some salt. And finally, paste of ginger and garlic. Let's give this a good mix. To this, let's add in just a little bit of water. And this is purely to adjust the consistency of the yogurt and the spice mix. Well, that's ready. Let's quickly check on the onions. They've turned golden brown in color. Let's start adding in the whole spices. Let's first begin with Indian bay leaf. To this, let's add in a little stick of cinnamon, followed by green and black cardamom, and finally some cloves. Do not add these earlier because all you want is to release the aroma of the spices and not burn them in the whole bargain of cooking the onions. Well, that's ready. Let's add in the mixture of yogurt and spices. Give this a good mix. Ensure that oil starts releasing the sides of the pan, and you need to do this on high flame. This is going to roughly take somewhere around 45 seconds to a minute. And once that's done, we add in the cleaned and washed goat trotters or paya. Once the trotters go in or the payas go in, we need to give this a nice mix. Allow this to cook on high flame so that the paya or the trotters kind of start getting seared on the outside. Once the trotters get nicely sealed with the masala on the outside, the next step is to add in 3 to 4 cupfuls of water. Let's cover this. Well, the last and final step now is to allow this to pressure cook for a minimum of 45 minutes or wait for 15 whistles on medium flame. It's been somewhere around 15 whistles and we are presuming that the paya or the trotters are cooked well. Let's have a quick check. Well, here primarily what's important to check is that the meat should just kind of fall off the bone or just start releasing from the bone. Well, the paya is perfectly cooked. Let's start seasoning it. The first thing that we do is add in salt. Deliberately not added earlier because if at all the soup reduces, we will not know how much it would concentrate. With this, let's add in some tang. For that, I'm using lemon juice. And finally, last but not the least, some fresh coriander leaves. Well, typically up north, they also add in fresh cut juliennes of ginger. Well, that is also something fancy. If you like it, you can put it to use. Let's give that a quick stir. One quick stir, and with this, your paya soup or kharode ka shorba is done and ready. With this, like I said, your paya soup is done and ready. Make this at home and make your winters extra special and warm. Do not forget to like and share the video and subscribe to Get Curried.